all kinds of spirits, you guys. There's a host. There are different spiritual races, as above, so below. So, you have ghosts, you have demons, you have angels, you have garden gnomes. You get what I'm saying? And everything in between. Rogue astral spirits, people who haven't transitioned. That would be a ghost. But there are different spirits that inhabit the spiritual world. So every time your pendulum moves, you are not speaking to an Orisha unless you know for sure that you are, because you are initiated and you are crowned by the power of that Orisha. Okay? If you're playing with a Ouija board, you don't know what manner of darkness you're channeling. So what kind of spirits lie?
Okay, so this is all from paranormal experience, because I do a lot of necromancy. There are different types of spirits, as Osun would say, different races. I say, let's say, different species. Different entities have different habitats. Poltergeists, for example, exist here. Okay,
here being
where we're sitting right now. There's
right.
a poltergeist up in here, right? Sitting right behind. I'm just playing. But no, poltergeist. When you think of Paranormal Activity, the movie, where it's like shit falling off the walls, the Bloody Mary, ghosts popping up. I saw this. That's a poltergeist. Those are things that you see, okay? Now, when you see things that aren't there, that is an indicator of mental illness, but we know if there's a fine line, mental illness or clairvoyance.
Right.
Okay, so I see things that are not there versus I saw something that is there. Now, when we're thinking of both types of entities, now you can think of demons, fairies, angels, Nkisi, whatever. Jinn. There are multiple different types of entities, and a lot of them we may not have names for them. So in like Haitian voodoo shit, we ain't got the fuck we supposed to call them. So that being said, using a Ouija board, be very careful, because you don't know who's speaking through it. Now, this is what I've seen happen to people. People get a pendulum, tell me yes, tell me no. They use that damn pendulum. Then the next thing they know, 3 months, 4 months later, shit just goes haywire. And they're like, you know what, my pendulum said it was going to kill me, all this other shit, because they thought that they were talking to Osun through the board. Or they thought that they were talking
to an ancestor.
Yeah, they said it was my grandmother. You have to be aware that when you're doing spiritual communication, like you watch, if anybody watches like sci-fi, those paranormal experts will tell you things that like things that a tarot reader will tell you. When you finish working with spirits, thank the spirits for their time. Because you're trying to establish a relationship with them. And
a protocol. You're trying to establish how it is that you want to deal with them, how you want to receive that energy, how you want to close it out, all of that.
And all spirits, and I've said this before in a live, not in a live, I said this in my 7 spiritual principles video. I said the ancestors know love, loyalty, wrath, and respect. That's it. Entities know that same thing: love, loyalty, wrath, and respect. So just because you open and close out the oracle or the reading in a proper way, you've shown that entity love and loyalty, and it may be a demon. So yes, spirits will lie to you. They will start lying to you, and they may not even intend to lie. It's just that spirit is not equipped to give you. It wasn't designed to be a truth teller.
Yeah.
That spirit may have been just a playful spirit. It may be a spirit that just comes in and talks to you and just makes you feel good.
And it's under no obligation to do so. It's under no obligation to tell you the truth. It doesn't have to.
Well, we assume it may be under no obligation to tell you the truth. It may be under obligation to tell you a lie by because there's a hierarchy.
Right, there. Exactly.
So I want you all to just understand that, different entities work on behalf of different entities. So it's very complex. That's why they say it's dangerous. Metaphorically, when you are using a Ouija board and a pendulum, you are basically throwing a cell phone into a jail yard of 100,000 felons.
That's true.
And you're like, hello, and somebody's gonna pick up, somebody's gonna talk to you, somebody's gonna be boo caking on the phone, making all types of promises to you. Once they get out of jail, I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you. And
test the spirits, see if they be true.
And how do you test the spirits and see if they be true? Here's how. Let's see if the shit comes to pass. There's a Bible verse in Deuteronomy that talks about prophets. False prophets. Don't apply that Bible verse in Deuteronomy about false prophets to people. Apply it to spirit. Now, you all know that I use a Ouija board. But I've used that Ouija board for readings. As of today, y'all confirmed that Nicki Minaj is about to get a marriage certificate. So that being said, the spirits they have to tell you the truth. Now the thing is, I know I work the gay day. Gay day do not lie. They do not lie. Other spirits,
who the fuck knows?
Who's controlling them? Who's authorizing it? Are they under any obligation? Rogue astral spirits. That's a different type of spirit where they have no allegiance to anyone.
They've gone rogue. They have not transitioned to the land of the ancestors. They've not been caught up and sucked into the underworld. They are not fairies or jinn or any other race that has an organized society and function as it relates to mankind. They're just out here. They're just out here. That's what a rogue astral spirit is.
And my spirit board has lied to me because a rogue astral spirit came talking through it. But the thing is that I knew it was a rogue astral spirit. I can hear when it's Barone not talking to me. I can hear when I'm bringing one of y'all's deceased ancestors to the board. I can hear the difference. I remember I tried to get in contact with David's mama one time, and I was like, some just didn't sound right. I didn't let shit come through because something wasn't right, and I stopped it in the middle of the reading. And I remember they all I know is that Osun has been in contact with her mama. She can contact her mama, but I knew in that very moment that I was like, something ain't right. I'm not authorized to do this. She's too afraid to do it. She doesn't want to do it. It's something just wasn't there. But the thing is that your intuition needs to be sharp enough to distinguish between what is, what you're seeing or what it is that you're hearing. This damn cell phone. Pick up where?
I can't.
Oh shit. Damn, you can't pick up where. Okay, so the point of what I'm saying, the point of what I'm saying is,
I'm not actually in your head. It just feels like that sometimes.
Yeah, it does. So, the point of what I'm saying is that you have to be very careful of what speaks to your board. In the instance that my board lied to me, my board lied to me. Gay, they do not lie. My board lied to me because I was doing a reading for my friend's. I can't say her name, but I was doing a reading for my friend, and I suspected in this. She was texting me and she was like, something ended up happening. Basically, her sister ended up having a psychotic attack, and her sister's like straight jacket, and so she's like, my sister, she was fine. She was on her man. She had a psychotic attack. Something's going on. What's happening? I looked into it and I'm like, there's somebody doing some magical work on your situation. But then she was like, who is it? And then the board said it's nobody, or something like that. And I said, what the fuck? I was like, it's nobody. Who the fuck is this?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I've had stuff like that happen before too. And you're like, what?
Yeah, like you was like, I remember when you was you was like, you would be like, you say the name, you be like, hello, and he be like, girl, you ain't spell your name right. Spell it again.
Right. Who is this?
Okay, you spelled your name right. What's up? Okay, how you doing? Exactly. And they said it's nobody. First of all, who the fuck is speaking through this board? It's nobody. You don't talk like this. I've heard you talk, and you talk like some damn archaic ass Bible. Okay, so as soon as you start getting hip and urban with me,
nah,
that ain't no damn Barone. That ain't no gay day. So. Let me read a Bible verse to you, and I want you to interpret it.
Okay, I love the Bible.
Okay.
Let's see.
This Bible verse comes from, you'll be very familiar with it. It is 1 Corinthians 12, 6 through 11. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same kind of Spirit. Absolutely. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but the same God works all of them in all men. Now to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good. Yeah. And then there's a list of different spiritual gifts. Here are some of the spiritual gifts that are listed in the Bible. To one, there is given through the Spirit the message of wisdom, which you have through clairaudience. Yes. To another, the message of knowledge by the means of the same Spirit. There you are. Yeah, claircognizance. Yeah. Okay. To another, gifts of healing by that one Spirit. To another, miraculous powers. To another, prophecy. To another, distinguishing between spirits. To another, speaking in different kinds of tongues.
And to another, interpreting those tongues.
All of these are the work of one and the same Spirit, and He gives them to each one just as He determines.
As He determines.
As He determines.
And the gifts
Go ahead. Teach, educate. Preach, priestess.
And the gift,
say it, y'all. Preach. Let me hit the sunflower emoji and say, preach, priestess.
what I was actually trying to think of this other verse, and I can't put it together absolutely, so I don't want to say it, but it's something like the gifts come without apology, or without the need to apologize. Like, you don't have to justify your gifts, you don't have to explain your gifts, because the Almighty knows exactly what it is that you were given and for what purpose. You know. And so, yeah, I love that verse. That's one of my all-time favorite Bible verses. And whenever I have a conversation with a diehard Christian, which I don't even bother to do anymore, that is one of the verses that I bring up. And I also love the verse where Jesus says, "As I have told you, you are gods." And then the other verse where he says, "Greater works than these will you also do." So there are all kinds of instances in the Bible where we are told that we have gifts, and that we need to tap into our gifts and use our gifts for the glory of the kingdom of God. But somehow Christians have forgotten that. They've actually forgotten those prescriptions that were given to them, and instead have twisted it and made it so that those of us who have gifts are now enemies of the church. And it's ridiculous, and it's because Christians don't read the Bible.
So let's talk about that. They tried to make us enemies of the church for using the same gifts that work with the same God.
Exactly.
So
that were foretold, explained, and expressed. This is what God does. This is what he do. This is what he has done. This is what he will do. This is what you guys will do. Jesus said, "Even greater works than these will you also do."
Greetings. I'm Priestess Peach Blossom. If you would like to learn more about the practice and the tradition of Southern Hoodoo, you can book a reading with me at www.blackspectrumnetwork.com.
But they're not doing it because they're afraid of the gifts, because they're listening to men who are afraid of the gifts and who have structured the church in a way where people won't tap in and use their gifts. They'll come to him and they'll give him money, him being the priest or the church official. You get what I'm saying? Because church as an institution doesn't want an empowered congregation. They don't want
or an enlightened
one. Exactly. You know, they want you to come to him and bring him your money and bring him your troubles so he can decide how, when, or if he's going to help you, if he's even able. Because what if he doesn't have any of those gifts?
I want to talk about the similarities between the gifts described in the Bible and the gifts that we possess as African practitioners, and how they're one and the same. So 30 seconds of research brought me to this website, which broke down this particular Bible verse and explains the gifts.
Okay.
The gift of wisdom seems to be the ability to make decisions and give guidance that is according to God's will. Do we do that in our readings?
That's what we do in our readings.
That's what we do in our
That's exactly
readings.
what we do in our readings.
The gift of knowledge is the ability to have an in-depth understanding of a spiritual issue or situation.
That's claircognizance. That's a gift that I had since the age of 2. Used to drive my mama crazy.
But it's also, but this particular gift is intrinsically embedded into African spirituality just through the tutelage that you receive from your spiritual mentor. The gift of faith is being able to trust God and encourage others to trust God no matter the circumstances. It's better to not know than to know and not do.
Absolutely.
The gift of healing is the miraculous ability to use God's healing power to restore a person who is sick, injured, or suffering. So how do you all do that?
Again, understanding that different people have gifts. Some people are actually healers. Some people have the ability to heal you with a touch or a prayer or words, sound. But also, and so that's recognized and understood and appreciated in Ifa. But also, medicine comes with every Odu. Those of you that have had readings with me know that I give medicine with every reading that I do. You cannot separate a reading in Ifa from healing. Okay, so medicine in Ifa is anything that addresses or solves a problem. It may be something that you take internally, like we think of medicine in the West, but it may be a physical object that you have. It may be a work that you perform, but you cannot get away from the healing aspect of Ifa, because every Odu, every reading, every suggestion comes with a medicine.
The gift of miracles is being able to perform signs and wonders that give authenticity to God's word and the gospel message.
I say.
Black Spectrum Network. 98% of the time I've been right.
Mm-hmm.
The gift of prophecy is being able to proclaim a message from God.
Mm-hmm.
Watch my Nipsey Hussle reading. The gift of discerning spirits is the ability to determine whether or not a message, person, or event is truly from God.
Mm-hmm.
How have you done that?
I say. I think we just talked about it.
How have you done it?
Just feeling it.
Through feeling.
Yeah, through feeling, through feeling, and also through claircognizance and knowing the vibration and the energetic emission of what a particular thing feels like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell from the vibration popping off of it what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can't really explain that, but that's just how it is. Like I can feel it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is for me. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's a gut feeling that you feel in your chest, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can put it. You feel it in your gut, but really you feel it in your gut spiritually, but the pain is in your chest, and you know when it ain't right, and when it's right, you feel it in your gut, but then there's this very light feeling in your head.
I was gonna say I feel it in my crown. I feel it in my crown
when it's right.
Period. It's
okay.
Like that's where my mechanism is.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and it's not even the crown. It's like behind I don't know. What is this? The medulla oblongata?
I thought the medulla
I was just making
was,
that. I'm just being silly. Okay. I don't know where it is.
The gift of tongues. The gift of tongues, and we ain't talking about the tongue in the bedroom. The gift of tongues is the ability to speak in a foreign language that you do not have knowledge of in order to communicate with someone who speaks that language. Mm-hmm. So I think about that when we are talking about. Okay, here's the thing. When you have clairaudience, if you're a medium, you do any sort of mediumship, or you do, let's just say you're a psychic, an intuitive that reads tarot or whatever. You are translating tongues, because the thing is that the spirits don't speak in words. The spirits speak in vibrations. I know this to be true because when you look at people that do ghost investigations, they'll use radios because it's picking up on frequencies, and the frequencies will translate those vibrations into sounds. Some of it is intelligible, some of it is inaudible. It varies, but I know for a fact that they speak in vibrations. And if you are able to give people clear, coherent messages through tarot, hell, even ministers, like, just a prophetess that's in your church, they're translating the tongues of spirits because they can't speak through vibration, but they can feel it, and then be a conduit to filter it out in a language that everybody else understands.
I mean, that's really what we do, though. That's what we do in readings. A lot of times, I mean, you see what you see on the board or through the cards, but then there's another unseen aspect of what you are feeling and what you are hearing. And a lot of times, those of you that have had readings with me know that I'll be like, hold on a second. Because I'm receiving information, and it's not words that I can tell you, okay, he said this. It's just something that falls into my consciousness that then I turn into words. Mm-hmm. The other thing I was going to mention to you, because I told you this a few weeks ago, remember I had a client who had a very sick child, and I actually took her to my Baba, and he did a reading, and there was a point in the reading where he was chanting. Those of you who have ever had an Odu reading know that they're done. The whole reading is in Yoruba except for when the Baba is actually translating the information to you, and Baba was chanting, and I just turned to her and told her what he said. I don't speak Yoruba like that, but I knew exactly what he was saying. And so I think in certain spiritual context, you will be able to speak in tongues or translate.
Oh, no. Yeah. Definitely in the in the instances of in the more I guess you could say like the more common understanding of that particular scripture, where it is that someone is literally speaking a foreign language and you're able to translate it, that is definitely an ability of the spirit. I wanted to try to draw upon the similarities between how divination works, like the metaphysical components of divination, and then how it is that a prophetess may do the same things without the same tools, but not be treated the same way. But yeah, that definitely happens. My spirit speak in Creole. They speak in Creole through the board.
Well, you know how mine speak. Good old pidgin English.
Ebonics.
Pidgin English, Ebonics, and heavy African accents.
Okay, so let's talk about how it is like that your readings have taught you things. Like it's just they just giving you information. Because I want to talk about yesterday how I was given information, like just as an example. But
I don't need. I mean, I've learned so much through my readings. I have learned. Okay, I learned how to use my spirit board through divination. Actually, so my board, the board that you guys see me read on, that board came to me through spirit. I received the images and the layout and all of that through spirit. I commissioned the board and had it produced. And once I got it, I was like, okay, now what am I supposed to do with this? And it was actually, I was taught how to use it through spirit. So that's one example. The second example would be my cards. And that's actually probably the first example because it predates the board. My cards were given to me first as just an inspiration. I was just inspired to do it. I could not sleep. I couldn't do anything but paint. Okay. And I painted 54 images in about a month's time. And I created my deck of cards that I use to this day to do readings. And once it was done, I was then taught by spirit how to use the cards, how they would speak to me, how they worked. So those are two very good examples of how I've been taught things by spirit.
Yeah. As far as using my tools, I have had to learn, like, they teach me through trial and error. Like, usually when I thought that I got something wrong, it was like they were trying to intentionally teach me. They were like, okay, you did get that wrong, but you need to think about why you got it wrong. Like, if I didn't hear a word correctly, they were like, no, you didn't hear the word correctly, but you were hearing something, so continue listening. So that's how I got better. It was like, no one can teach you. What I learned was that nobody can teach me how to read my spirit board that I designed for myself. The spirits gave me that board, and they're going to teach me how to use that board. The card placements that I put on the board, they gave me those. Yeah. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. And when things are quote unquote malfunctioning, I'm supposed to figure out why it's malfunctioning. Usually it's not malfunctioning. It's usually like, this is a lesson that you need to learn about. Like, let's say, for example, the pendulum may swing between the letters A and D. And I'm like, y'all ain't giving me nothing clear. And it's like, no, you're not hearing correctly. Perhaps you need to listen more carefully. Maybe you need to use your cards and go to another tool. Maybe this is something that we're not going to answer. But the issue isn't on our end. The issue is in you using perhaps a process of elimination to figure out what has been going on. But I've spent a lot of time working with my board. Now, when it comes down to things that I've learned, I have a client who she was dealing with this guy, and this guy cheated on her with this girl. The girl put some of her menstrual blood in a dude's spaghetti, and then basically my client got her man taken. And so she started doing some spiritual work to take her man back. Me and Peach Blossom were on the phone yesterday, and Peach Blossom was like, well, I wonder if the girl that did the work, that put the menstrual blood in the dude's food, knows that you're doing spiritual work to help take this dude back. So when I did the reading, it didn't answer anything about that at all. It didn't say shit about that. It said that my client was thinking about paying me for some more spiritual work. And I was like, what does this have to do with my question? So it shows up, the death card. And I was like, oh, she wants to pay me to kill this woman. And so I was like, what? And she was like, and the cards were like, if she had the money to do it, she would have been asked you to do something like this. That's how angry she is. And so I was like, okay. So Peach Blossom says, Q, what would there be any consequences to this? So I'm pulling the cards, and I'm expecting this to be like somebody's going to hell. Something I was really expecting like some like karma, like what's gonna happen. I saw me as a magician And the spirit said to me, they were like, I saw me as a magician. I was carrying bags. Like, I was accepting the coins. And it's like, no, these were money bags. I secured the bag. So it's like, she's going to pay you a lot of money. That's the consequence of it. And so I'm like, okay, let me be more specific. What's the karma that she's going to face? And Barone was pretty much like, well, trespassers get shot. Stay out of other people's marriages.
Yep.
And that was a lesson. It was like, there ain't no karma for that? Like, there's no karma. So if she enlisted me to kill her boyfriend's mistress, she doesn't get no karma? The way Barone sees it is stay out of other folks' shit. I learned a lot in that moment. Now, that's not some don't call me for no shit like that. Right. Don't call me for no death type. Do it. I don't do that type of shit. But
this tells you guys how the spirits think about those kinds of things.
Exactly. And that I was shocked. Peach Blossom was on the phone. I wish she was in the chat so she could hit the skull emoji and say, yeah, boy,
She's in the chat.
She's in the chat. Peach co-signed this shit. Because I was shocked. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about karma. I mean, now I have a more complex understanding of karma.
So fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your liar too. Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the skyline view. Ooh.